Josina Anderson last night put this up, Hugh, because everyone's wondering what is the deal with the new coordinator and what are they kind of promising to this new coordinator. So here's what she posted last night. Quote, a league source just told me initial talks with Eagles offense coordinator candidates and their camps have gone well, adding that the feedback has been on wanting to have questions assuaged on complete autonomy over the offense, similar to what Kellen Moore enjoyed when he was with Philadelphia. Those concerns were met with responses ensuring an elite candidate should not anticipate any interference, the source said. So, Hugh Douglas, let's just start here. We've unpacked Jalen Hurts a lot the last couple of days, and we always will. But there is a head coach here in Philadelphia who is an offense. He comes from offense, right? He was a former offensive coordinator. That is his background. Hugh, should Nick Sirianni have any say over the 2026 offense? Because from this, what I'm reading, sounds like they are telling candidates Nick Sirianni will have no say over the 2026 offense.
Well, before I answer the question, Joe, let me kind of set it up a little bit.
Okay.
When Kellen Moore was here, Coach Sirianni got a press conference and said it was similar. It was basically his offense. He's going to have some input in the offense, even though Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator. So that's why when you hear people talk about having complete autonomy, that's what it kind of feels like. So I think he should, because one of the indictments of this offense this year is that it has become stagnant. And I think that in order for the Eagles, because we still have a good roster, and in order for the Eagles to get back to where we ultimately want to be, you have to bring somebody in here with some fresh ideas. I think that's important. I think it's important to have some fresh ideas. I think it's important to do things differently because you've kind of gotten into a situation, a rut, where, you've become somewhat predictable. Still a good football team, still a good quarterback, Jalen Hurts, that is. I just think that you've become predictable, and you need to change that up a little bit.
So I hear that. Listen, and I understand everyone is ready to just shove Nick Sirianni in the broom closet the way they did Howie Roseman 10 years ago. I get it. And I don't think Nick Sirianni is even like in the stratosphere of an offensive genius. I just think the idea of this is completely unrealistic. He is the head coach of the football team, and there is a major difference between now and 2 years ago. I feel like everyone's ignoring this. Just like 2 years ago with Kellen Moore. Guys, they won the Super Bowl since then. How are we going to tell a Super Bowl winning head coach, and even if you love him, you hate him, you think he's a dope, whatever, a bubblehead as you would call him, he is a Super Bowl winning head coach. If there's just no way to me the Eagles could tell that guy, you have no say over the offense. I mean, at what point, what is he but a figurehead?
Well, he's still the head coach, and that's the guy that they gave him the head coaching moniker. As far as winning the Super Bowl, the NFL changes every year.
I get
Joe. It does, and you can't be the same team that you were before. I think with as much success as Coach Sirianni has had in the past, I think it's okay to bring in some fresh ideas.
So, no, I'm fine with fresh ideas, but Sirianni's got to be part of the equation on what the offense is. Let me just give you an example of how to me it doesn't add up. Let's go with the idea Nick Sirianni's philosophy on winning football games is going to be similar next year. I would think it would be, right? They've won a lot of football games, Nick Sirianni doing what he does. So his philosophy is ball control and not turning the football over, right? So let's just...
What?
Taking care of the football.
I'm going to need you to grow up for just
I didn't say that. I will try.
I'm listening.
Okay. I will try. Let me rephrase it for you.
I've played with guys.
Okay. Let me rephrase it with you. Taking care of the football, okay?
Yes.
Not turning it over, okay?
Yes.
So let's say that's his philosophy. And they hire a new offense coordinator that says, bombs away, I don't care if we turn the ball over. It doesn't mesh. In 2020, the Eagles tried to bring in a whole conglomerate of ideas and people and blah, blah, and it was disgusting, the offense, because they had too many ideas, too many cooks in the kitchen. The person that runs the offense, whoever that is, it's just, to me, Nick has to be part of whatever that is. Because, imagine Nick getting up there and saying, we don't do turnovers around here, and the new coordinator is throwing the ball into traffic over the middle. There's going to be turnovers. That's part of that kind of way of playing offense.
Well, I think if that's what you're asking the quarterback to do, then it's incumbent on the quarterback to learn offense. Now, I will say this. There will be some growing pains if that is the case. But that's what you have. And I don't See, because I feel like you feel it's going to be a wholesale, totally different thing. I don't get that feeling.
But all right. But the report says that the candidates are being given assurances they will get complete autonomy, which means they do what they want.
Yes, but that is also saying that the quarterback has to fall into lockstep with what the offensive coordinator is doing.
Sure.
And I think that's what we're talking about. Say, for instance, if the offensive coordinator comes in here and he says, Jalen, I know you want to win, right? And you have won in the past. I'm not taking anything like that away from you. But just to appeal to something that he understands.
Right.
You're a big Jordan guy. You and Jordan are cool. You have to evolve if you want to become an historical player like Jordan. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You're on that road. You're on that road. You've won a Super Bowl. You've been to 2. But what if I tell you, if you implement this into this offense, I can get you back to the Super Bowl? I don't think Jalen would be against that. I really don't, and that's what we're talking about.
I don't either, and the Jalen part of this is interesting. I just think the Sirianni part is unrealistic. 215-592-9494. Should Nick Sirianni have a say in the offense next season? According to reports out there, candidates are being assured they'll get complete control over the offense. I mean, to me, it doesn't make any sense. We have a head coach who comes from that side of the football. So, all right, let's play this out. We go to training camp, right? We know Nick Sirianni's not barging into Vic Fangio's meetings, right? He has no say in there. And that's understood. That is his side of the football. So are we going to have a Vic Fangio on the offensive side? So then what does Nick do all day?
He's the culture setter.
He's
the chief vibes officer.
But when the offense is in a meeting and the defense is in a meeting,
I knew Kyle was going to get a kick out of that.
Can I ask where Nick is during the offensive meeting and defense meeting?
I think he's sitting in an offensive meeting.
Well, no, I still think in the back.
I think
quietly?
Coach Sirianni is still going to be involved in his offense. You know what's messed up, because I hear what you're saying and I understand exactly where you're coming from.
It doesn't feel like it makes sense.
But I don't think the picture is going to be the way that it's being painted. I don't feel like it's going to be like that. But I totally get where you're coming from, because it feels like you're relinquishing power of the only thing that you really had control over.
Yeah, and the only thing you have some area expertise in. He is, and I know we laugh at it, but like his offense is his background.
But how about if I told you this, Joe? How just for devil's advocate, that having a different voice in, maybe we can get Jalen Hurts to buy in.
Yeah.
Maybe Jalen wasn't feeling Kevin Patullo. Maybe. I don't feel like when you say bringing in somebody that's separate from the coach, I don't feel like that's a bad thing. But I also understand that could bring a lot of questions being asked. Okay, well, whose success is this, and things of that nature. You have to be comfortable in the spot that you've been put in, because, to be honest, Coach Sirianni put himself in this spot.
Well, they did. Let me throw one more part of this, right? Because I think when I say that, I just feel like Sirianni has to be part of the offense next year. He is the head coach, and removing him completely doesn't feel like it makes any sense to me. It just feels almost like pie in the sky. But the other part of this that I think maybe we're not thinking about is, how about the staff? Right? Whose staff is this right now?
Coach Sirianni's
staff.
Okay,
it's Coach Sirianni's staff. All right, and I would say on the defensive side, I'm sure Vic gets to pick his assistants because it's his side. But I would think the offensive side, like Patullo and Stoutland, they're Nick's assistant coaches. Let's just use Mike McDaniel for an example, because he's one of the candidates that seemingly the Eagles have interest in. Mike McDaniel's been around the league, Hugh, for a long time. He was just a head coach, right? So he's got his own people. If Mike McDaniel sits down next week or today or tomorrow with the Eagles and says, I'm very interested, but I got my guys. I got my running back coach. I got a receiver coach. I have a line coach that I trust. Are they moving out Jeff Stoutland? Are they moving out all of Sirianni's staff, Singleton, Stoutland, Moorhead, because Mike McDaniel's got his guys? Because that's what autonomy is. It's your staff, your side.
I would say this, Joe. If I'm the OC and that I wanted to bring my guys in, to answer your question, I think just off on the surface,
because I don't know.
I don't know any of the other coaches, and I'm not trying to throw shade at anybody, but Coach Stoutland to me is safe. Coach Stoutland to me has enough cachet that he's going to be here. Now, I can't say that for everybody else, because I don't know everybody else. I don't know everybody else's body of work, but I will say this. Just off of the conversation that we're having today and the conversation that we had with Jason Avant yesterday, the fact that the receivers didn't play hard down the stretch, the receiver coach gone. And I'm not trying to single him out, I'm just saying the receivers coach gone, the running back coach probably gone. Who else? That they're gone. Mm-hmm. They're gone because I have to have a new message in that locker room.
Listen, I get it. But
Stalin gets to stay.
Okay. But that's
he's
not,
an OG.
I'm just saying, full autonomy means full autonomy.
Yeah.
I think Nick Sirianni has to have a say in the offense next year, and I think we're kind of fooling ourselves, and the Eagles are fooling themselves if they think it's all going to work out smoothly if they bring in an OC and the head coach, who's an offensive guy, has no say. Kyle, what are you feeling on all this?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm with you. It feels like people are living in some kind of fantasy land where Nick Sirianni is going to just take a step back. They're going to have all the same staff, but this new OC is going to come in. They're going to start adding motion. They're going to start doing all this complex and crazy stuff, and we're going to light the world on fire with this offense next season. That it's just not going to happen. It's just not.
I think it has to happen.
Well, I got bad news for you then.
Well,
I got bad news for you. It's not going to happen. You guys know where I stand on the reason that I think this offense isn't as, it's not
dynamic.
what anybody's wanted it to be, right?
Yep.
But that also leads me to where I'm at with Sirianni in that I don't think he's this giant buffoon that has no clue what he's doing out there all the time. I think he's formed this offense around the talent that he has, and this is the best type of offense for what we have out there. The smartest thing Nick Sirianni ever did as a head coach was, one, give up the play calling. And I'm not saying Nick Sirianni needs to be out there calling plays next year.
Yeah, I'm thinking about saying that.
But he decided that the best formula for this offense was to be a running team, lean on the run. I don't know. I just think people have this crazy idea that you get rid of Patullo and Sirianni gets out of it, then all of a sudden everything's going to change next season. That's just not going to happen.
Well, and to go to the idea, because in the report it was compared to Kellen Moore a couple years ago, which it didn't feel like that's actually accurate.
That was never a thing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it as if it was. But
but Kellen Moore was a guy that, before he got here, was a guy that aired the ball out every play.
Right.
Dak Prescott had 5,000 yards with this guy. He came here, they tried it, and then him, in conjunction with Nick Sirianni, figured out, once again, that their formula is to be a running offense.
Yeah, well, of course.
So the next OC is going to come in, and that's going to be the same thing that happens. Yeah. I guarantee you.
And if that guy comes in and says, let's throw it 50 times a game, Nick has to be able to say, no, he's the head coach of the football team. All right, let's hear from Devontae Smith the other day talking about this offense, because we talk about the different years, and maybe it's different in different years, and he says, no, it's actually been the same the whole time.
What about the scheme? The scheme in general that you guys run. Do you think it does enough for, in particular, I guess if you look at your own position, getting you guys throws over the middle?
I mean, this is the scheme that we've been in the whole time. So.
You mean since you've been
Yeah.
here?
So I mean.
Yeah. You should roll with it.
Well, whatever everybody thinking. I mean, nothing changed. It's the same scheme.
So what changed this year between a Super Bowl team and a team?
We didn't execute.
Okay.
Yeah, I like how you stumped the report. Hey, we didn't execute. There's some truth to that.
Of course there is.
There's a lot of truth to that. That's why I always say that it's not just one thing. And we all like to point to just one thing. It's not. This is a collection of things. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to fathom because they see Kevin Patullo, and like you said yesterday, Kevin Patullo, the new face. He's the new hotness. But when you have an offensive coordinator that comes in, you're going to look at this year and last year. Even though the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they came out, if you think about that first game, and they tried to look different. They tried to do different things, and they couldn't. And I think that's what some people are forgetting. We benefited tremendously off the back of Saquon Barkley and his ability to run the football.
Of course they did.
And on top of that, Jalen did a tremendous job in the Super Bowl when Spags basically loaded the box and said, you're going to throw the football. But when you talk about everything else from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, they wanted to try to get these receivers involved more in this offense, and for whatever reason, that wasn't the case. And I think that's what people are not understanding. They paid 2 receivers. They gave them $20 million, and they were trying to get them more involved in offense.
I just think, if the Eagles were going into this offseason, going to hire a new OC, and they decided that Sirianni can't have any say in this whatsoever, they might as well just fire him.
They should have fired him. I mean, I agree. I agree. It doesn't make any sense. And you're cutting his legs out from under him. And again, and I know people are going to probably tell us today, this happened 2 years ago. 1, I'm not quite sure it happened that way exactly. 2, he wasn't a Super Bowl winning coach then. There's got to be a little gravitas that comes with this is my staff, my football team. I am a Super Bowl winning coach. If he has no say over the offense, his side of the football, then what are we doing here?